The very first exercises that I'm going to teach you are the push-up variations, and we don't even need to go to the gym to do push-ups, so I'm just going to do those here since the sound is better here. And since you can do push-ups from home and don't need to go to the gym for them, you should be doing them from home frequently, like ideally every single day as part of a morning wake-up ritual to sort of get you going for your day. And I know there's something that everyone knows how to do out there, but I'm going to be teaching you some very special variations of them for different types of chest targeting and hypertrophy that most people do not know about, even push-up enthusiasts. So especially if you're one of these people who's been doing push-ups your whole life and can do 25 or 30 or even 40 or 50 of them at a time, and you may be thinking you don't need to learn about push-ups because you are a master of them, I guarantee you are going to learn some things from me today that will take your push-up training to the next level. And just so you know, when you can do more than 30 reps of an exercise, that is no longer hypertrophy training, that is endurance training. So if you can do more than 30 regular push-ups, or whenever you do get to that point, you need some progressive overload, and you want to start using some of these variations that I'm going to teach you to make it more challenging and also more specifically targeted for hypertrophy. So before I teach you any advanced push-up variations, let's make sure you are good at doing a push-up with proper form first. All right, so you want to make sure you're doing your push-up optimally, which means that you should be coming down with your elbows at a 45-degree angle away from your body or less. Okay, they can be tucked in more, like that. All right, but they should not be out further than 45 degrees. And I see a lot of people doing this. And that's not optimal form because it's recruiting your shoulder more and your chest less than what you want. All right, so make sure your elbows are tucked in at 45 degrees or less when you're doing your push-up. And make sure you go down all the way to the floor and all the way back up again. So both my stomach and my forehead are touching the floor at the bottom. All right. That's how I know I've gone down all the way. And you want to make sure that you are planking your body well in this so that your body is going like that and not like that. All right, because I've seen people at the gym doing push-ups where they're only pushing up like that. So they're actually taking everything from the waist down out of the equation, and they're only pushing their upper body's weight, okay? And so you really need to make sure you're strict about your push-up form, because when your body does little things to make it easier, you're taking some weight out of the equation, and that's really bad for push-ups because push-ups are already not as much weight as you might think. The reason why people often get good at them to the point where they're able to do 30, 40, 50 of them is because it's not a heavy exercise, it's actually a light exercise. And oftentimes these people are letting their bodies do things that makes it even easier, like not having a strict full range of motion. So in a push-up, you're actually only getting 56% of your body weight, approximately. So a 200-pound man like me is only getting 112 pounds. That's not a lot of weight for your chest to be pushing. All right, so you want to make it as hard as possible on your body and not just try to get through as many reps as possible as fast as possible. All right, but make every rep count. Do it slowly enough that you're getting a good pump and maximizing hypertrophy. All right, but there will be a point where you get good at doing just your body weight, and you could do 25, 30 plus push-ups. And once you get to that point, you do need progressive overload. You need to find a way to make it harder or add more weight. All right, so you can make it harder by turning it into a deficit push-up, where you take some books, throw them down, and this makes it so that you can go down even deeper and get a greater stretch at the bottom. And stretch under tension is especially hypertrophic. So this is a great way to advance your push-ups. So that makes it a little bit more hypertrophy optimized. And then you can do progressive overload with that by adding more books as you get used to that, or doing them holding dumbbells, which will be even higher and give you a better grip as well. And they can also move around a little too. So there's a lack of stability there that makes that training more functional. And if you don't have books or dumbbells, you can put anything down, anything to give you a deficit. All right, be creative. So that is a way to make the exercise harder. You can also, of course, add weight. And you can do this easily by filling up jugs with water and putting them into a backpack and wearing the backpack while doing push-ups. The backpack should weigh between 20 and 25 pounds if it's full of jugs of water. So that's a good increment of weight to add to make your push-ups harder. Another thing you could do to make them harder is work on being explosive on the concentric movement and turn it into a plyometric push-up where you literally push yourself off of the ground while doing it. So that trains your explosivity and is very challenging, especially because you don't want to be letting yourself go down as fast on the eccentric, all right? You're only supposed to be exploding up on the concentric, all right? So then you have to catch yourself and kind of let yourself down a little bit more slowly. So it's very challenging. It's great for athleticism and training you to be more explosive. It's especially great in self-defense if you ever have to push someone away from you, and that's a great way to also train yourself to punch. Now another way to make your push-ups harder is by putting a resistance band around your back, all right, holding on to it, and then doing a push-up like that with some added resistance. And as you add weight when you're using a backpack or a resistance band like that, you want to make sure you're still going down all the way, and at the top, make sure you're going up all the way and getting a good squeeze, okay? Make sure you keep your form strict and your range of motion strict as you add weight and make these exercises harder. So adding a 50-pound resistance band is great, and when you're holding it like that, you're also giving yourself a little bit more of a deficit than if you were doing that, all right? So that's another way to progressive overload your push-ups. But now what if you want to target specific parts of the chest? Well, let's talk about that. If you want to target your lower and outer chest, you would use a wider hand placement. All right, now you do not want to flare your arms out here unless you want to recruit the shoulder more as well. So keep them just below the shoulder, all right? They're going to be flared out a little, but it doesn't have to be a whole lot. See? So I'm putting my hands facing outward, but my elbows are still tucked down, okay? Like that. If you do want to target the shoulders, that's fine. You can just bring them out more to the side. Okay? So that's how you target those. However, you can also target your shoulders as well as your upper chest by doing a more underhanded or close grip push-up. So the underhanded push-up is harder and also less ergonomical as well. So I'm going to do that first before I'm starting to run out of energy from doing so many push-ups here. And if you do this one, I just want to let you know that it's not as ergonomical as the others. And so you shouldn't be doing a whole lot of it or be doing it weighted or anything like that. Okay, I recommend just peppering this in for good measure. Okay, so do an underhanded like that. And if that's not comfortable for you, you don't have to be completely underhanded. Your hands can be pointing out more diagonally, like that. So that's going to target more shoulder and upper chest. Also, the closer grip push-up is going to target your upper chest more and your triceps a lot more than any of the other push-ups as well. Now when you're using a closer grip, you want your hands right here, all right? Just below the shoulder joint and the beginning of the chest, all right? People talk about these diamond push-ups that you used to learn about in gym class. That's not ergonomical. All right, putting your weight on your wrist like this is just not good for it. And it's not just bad for your wrists, it's also bad for your elbow. All right, so this is close enough. You never want to be so close that your hands are touching. Same goes for close grip barbell bench press. You don't do it like this, all right? That is not the way your wrists are supposed to be, okay? Keep your hands a little ways apart, all right? So a close grip push-up looks like this. Now you can't touch the ground because your hands are in the way, but just go down as far as you can. So my eyebrows are touching the ground. So that's great for your upper chest and triceps. You'll really feel that in your triceps. And lastly, you may have heard of the one-handed push-up. That's not really a real push-up. You know, people who do that, they're doing more of like this twisting motion with their body to get their shoulder close and then away. All right, but like I always say, it's important to do single arm work. And there is a way to do something like a single-handed push-up. And that's to spread your grip wide, and then you go from side to side, like that. Okay? So, that way you have some support for stability on one hand while the other hand comes in. So you are placing almost all of your weight on one arm, but it's an actual push-up because you're giving yourself that stability. You're not just turning it into like a jerky twist. So yeah, doing it back and forth like that really helps. However, while this might be good to pepper in there for strength or whatever purposes you might feel as though you need it, I have not felt that that is an optimal exercise for hypertrophy when I did it as part of my chest routine for some time. So that might just be the way my body is calibrated. You can certainly try it, and you might find that that does give you a great pump, and you do feel like you're getting hypertrophy and muscle soreness and such from it. But I didn't feel that way, so I don't do that one anymore, but I did want to teach it to you so that you can decide for yourself. And you can also do push-ups in a functional way of training for stability by doing them on a Bosu ball or on suspension straps as well. Now, if you want to target your shoulder even more, target it primarily, which you should do when you can't do other forms of shoulder pressing. You could do a shoulder push-up. It's called a pike push-up by going in a downward dog like this, so that you're aligning your direction of press with your front delt, okay? And then you press like that. This isn't going to be great for people like me who can use heavy weight with our shoulder press. That just wouldn't give me a good front delt workout, but if you're a beginner or female, it probably will give you a good front delt workout, but you know, it's better to just get to the gym and do some overhead pressing. So those are literally all of the push-up variations that you need to know in order to optimize your push-up training for hypertrophy and target any part of the chest that you may want.